Hello everybody, this is Cheri at djsundry.blogspot.com, and tonight I am bringing to you a craft room tour video that I was asked about recently, and I realized it had been quite a while since I had updated. I got to looking, it's been almost 2 years since I have done an updated craft room tour, and while not a lot has changed, there have been some changes that have really helped with setup and flow. So we're going to jump right in and get to it. So I'm walking into the craft room now, and I am very thankful for this room. This is kind of my escape place that I go to when I am tired and busy and want to craft. The view that you're seeing is what you see when you first walk in the door, and this is where I sit. I actually have my desk right there that you can see. We'll talk more about that. On the wall I have some mini bulletin boards that I made, and then this little frame just has a foam core board in it with a vinyl wall application like what you can get at Hobby Lobby or one of those stores, and I actually put it on the foam core. And then up above you can kind of see hanging down where my setup is for the video camera for when I'm taping over the desk. So now I'm going to step away from the door and go back to what was behind the door as you heard me close it. And I've got a bulletin board there where I just keep there's plenty of room on it, so I threw a clock up there, and just special things to me on there, more cards and things that were made, different things like that. And then you see the first of 2 plastic carts that I have. Now in my previous craft room video, I had this cart and its twin sitting on the opposite side of the room, and this is where I keep a lot of things, some of which have changed, some of which are exactly the same. One thing that's changed is if we were to open the bottom drawer down there, you would see that's where I have my extra traveler's journals. That's where I have pretty much anything Foxy Fix that I have is down there. I have some bags that are from like the Cocoa Daisy bags and other makeup type bags that I keep that I use for my planning and traveling with my planner. So that has all been moved into there out of my old Rock Scott cart. The next drawer up is my adhesive drawer. That's been the adhesive drawer at least as long as I've been in this house, and maybe clear back when I lived in Utah, I don't know, but that's where I keep all of my backup adhesives, those things that you don't use very often but you keep, or like your extra supplies, like my extra Xyron refills if I have them for the little Xyron, extra glue dots, extra glossy accents, my refills for my ATG gun, all of that goes in that drawer. Moving up, we have a fountain pen drawer. I'm just going to open that up. This also was in my Rock Scud cart. I've repurposed the Rock Scud cart for something else, but I'm glad I'm opening this because I'm seeing ink that has been knocked over. But in here I keep basically all things fountain pen and then some journaling. So I've got extra inks, cleaning solutions, extra cartridges, the mouse pad you see in there. There are some needles, some different flosses and different things that I use when I'm doing journal inserts. I'll keep in that drawer. This next drawer, moving up, these are just some various and sundry little tiny, kind of the 1-inch square, maybe 1.5-inch square, different types of mini pads that I have for inks. Those have all been swatched out. What you see there is my entire collection of wooden stamps that I have left. I, through the years, have slowly reduced down to just those 5 or 6 that are in there. And then my fuse tool. We've got some embellishments, lots of tags. There are a few other embellishments in here, but for the most part, something's catching on that, but for the most part, these are either tags that I have made or some that I have purchased so that I can do tags. And then this is sticky embellishments, you know, lots of bling in there. So I can easily move this out when I need to get to my Cricut mats that are hanging on cup hooks on the wall there, right next to my Cricut table. Now this old Cricut table is what I used to use as my desk when we lived back in Utah, and it's been the Cricut table as long as I've moved into this house, but for a while I had both Cricuts on it. I've just decided I'm putting the other Cricut away unless I need it. these shelves up above had all of the Cricut cartridges, which of course with a design space you don't use. So I've packed them all away or put them in various places so that I could repurpose this area for all things Cricut and die cutting. So I moved my Cuttlebug out here, I moved my little sidekick out here, I moved all my embossing folders, all of my dies, embossing folders, dies, cutting pads, all of that is right here and accessible, which is really nice, because before, anytime I wanted to use the Cuttlebug or the sidekick, I had to go into the closet, pull out what I wanted, and it was cumbersome. I just didn't use it. So that's what I keep in this area. It's making it a lot more user-friendly. Now, I keep this paper cutter either in here or sitting on top of the plastic cards. It's not something I keep on my workspace because it's big and I don't need it all the time. It's not my go-to cutter, but we keep it there. Moving up, we have washi tape, glitter tape. We have a small amount of ribbon. We've got the bulk of my stick pin collection, and then there's some dried flowers there from a bouquet my husband had bought me, and then pretty much everything else is planner related. I got a little tiny tripod there. I don't even remember why I had that, but I just have it stored there. But then we get into sticky notes. I do keep these cups for cleaning fountain pens. But then we get up here and we've got embellishments for planning and extra pin refills for my Cocoa Daisy pin refills. We've got inserts and leftover from kits and planner stickers and sticky pads and clips and all things like that. When we keep coming down, if you look under the table, there's a small cart that has other Cricut items in the top two drawers. Things like pens, tools, there's my little heat press. I can never remember what it's called, but that's in one of those drawers, and the bottom drawer is just full of kids' crafts. The stuff kind of tucked in the corner are just things that I have not ever hung down in here, and I'm not sure where I'm going to hang it. And then I threw my splat box underneath there as well. So that brings me to the desk, which you see in front of me, and this is what I would be looking at if I was sitting at the desk to shoot a video. So you see, it seems fairly cluttered, and it is a little bit cluttered, but it's very organized for how I work. So here on the right, you see my little Tim Holtz cutter. I keep that right there on the desk so it's easy for me to use. And then this little tray just has bits and bobs if I just needed a little thing. There's everything in here. There's a sticker sheet with like one sticker in it. There's a tag in there. If I just needed a little piece of white cardstock to scribble on, that kind of stuff I keep in there. And then this case, this is something new that I started doing a few months ago, where I store either items that I need for a particular project that I have in mind, or maybe they're items that I haven't used in a long time, and some of them are new items that I haven't used at all. Stencils, embellishments, stamps, old stamps, new stencils, old stencils, new dies, old dies, everything like that that I want to focus on using so that I can get some really good use out of the supplies that I have, and then I'll trade them out for other things in the room as I've when I feel like I've used those up. So for now, that sits on my desk, which means it hides this little guy here. I'm okay with that for now. I don't know that that's permanent, because I really want to be using my stash. So on top of that, we have just standard baby wipes, and then containers holding those grab tools. So we've got a container for scissors, we've got pens and pencils, we've got little spatulas and a paper punch and just bone folders, we've got paint brushes and rulers, all those things that I want to be able to grab in a hurry. Those are right there at my fingertips. Little bits and bobs trays. This little holder holds right now it's got a little bit of glossy accents in it. It's got my Gina K Connect. I've got extra foam pads in here at the ready. In this one, I have markers, the zig markers or the stress markers. Moving down, we've got jelly roll pens and different micron pens. We've got glitter pens, and then different like pencil sharpeners, sticky notes, extra cutters for my slide cutter, those kind of things in there. Yes, I do keep hand sanitizer on my desk. The reason I do that is not because I'm worried about germs and stuff so much as it's a great cleaning product to use like on my glass mat, which always sits here unless I'm doing something that I wouldn't want to do on top of that, which is very rarely. But in that case, I just move that over to my husband's desk across the room. And I'm not going to show you his little area, but he does have a little area. So if he's doing, I can just kind of show it in a quick. For his leather stuff, that's his area. He doesn't use it a lot, but it is over there. Usually he uses it if he needs to do cutting. He'll come down and use it. It's where he keeps his supplies. If he has some particular pounding that he needs to do, but he doesn't use it, he usually just kind of takes his stuff and uses it around the house. So this desk, I didn't measure it, but it's simply an IKEA top set on 2 sets of drawers. And I'm not going to go into everything. I'll open some of the drawers to kind of show you. They're definitely not organized, but they're for what I use them for. So this top drawer is everything to do with alcohol ink. I have very few alcohol ink supplies that aren't in this drawer, including the inks themselves, and most of my Yupo paper is in here. I do have some that's not. This drawer has 3 main functions. We've got embossing stuff over kind of on this side with different embossing powders, embossing paste. Back in this corner, what little foiling supplies I have, I keep back here. I keep my Versamark ink pad and pen in here. And this little stuff, I use those for embossing. But this little stuff that you see here, these are little wax chunks because, and these are candles so that I can make wax impressions in something if I want to. My embossing gun, when it's not on my desk, which is probably 50% of the time it's on my desk because I use it for drying things, not just for embossing. So, but when it's not on my desk and not cooling off, it's in here. The next drawer is card bases and envelopes. And then we move down to my selfie. There's a point and shoot camera in there. There's extra cleaning rags, eyeglass cleaner, cloth. And then the bottom drawer I'm not going to open is just punches and things like this. This drawer has sequins and embellishments and glitter, googly eyes, all things like that. Things that you don't use all the time, but you want to have them at the ready so that you remember to use them. And this is one of my more used drawers because it is stuff to do with, for the most part, with distress products. So I've got all sorts of sponges. I've got a few stamp blocks in different sizes. A lot of my close to my heart ones are put away in the closet, but I do use that. My most frequently used ones are in here. This is where I keep my collage mediums over here with press and seal wrap on them. That was a Tim Holtz tip. And then the other thing I keep in here are my most used black stamp pads. I've got my Jet Black Archival and my VersaFine. I use those the most. I forget that I have this Memento one, but it's just there. But everything else is pretty much related to distress or the stamp pads. This is watercolor type items. Again, it's a big mess when you look at it, but I can find what I need. I've got everything from Post-it tape to use as mask off. I've got different sets of watercolors and brushes, gelatos, distress crayons, my water containers. I've even got this little guy that's empty right now, but I think it came as a 2-piece. I've got alcohol in one for if I need it for alcohol inks, but this one's empty. But if I wanted to travel with it, I could use it, put some water in there to help clean brushes or whatever. I probably wouldn't do that often, but I could if I wanted to. It's nice and portable. Extra brushes in here, extra palettes, sponges, those kind of things. Next drawer down, this is my main adhesive drawer, another very well used drawer. I keep my ATG gun in there. I have no idea why I have so much I think it's because some of these are about empty, these little quick dry glues. But for the most part, these are, you know, at your fingertip, different types of adhesives. I keep an ATG refill in here. When I have Tombow refills, I keep them in here, and then different types of tape and things, so that I have things. Oh, look, there's another ATG guy in there. But so that I have these things at the ready. And then the bottom drawer is where I keep some of my markers, Gamsol. When I don't have my colored pencils, my Prismacolors in a big pencil case mixed in with a whole bunch of other things, I keep those in here. Pencil stubs, markers, chalks, oil pastels, stuff that I forget to even pull out and use. There's even regular crayons down there. Actually, I think those are, nope, those are regular ones. Somewhere I have a skin tone crayon. So this is basically art supplies, that kind of thing. So when we move around the edge of my desk, this is something that I believe I probably added, I don't know if this was on the last time I did a video or not. This is a little tray that I got. It's just a letter holder. I got it like at TJ Maxx or somewhere like that. And I had my husband attach it to the side of this set of drawers so that I could keep my these guys, I can't even think what they're called, my scoring tools in here. I keep my slide cutter. My slide cutter and my Tim Holtz mini chopper, those are the ones I use the most, so I want them at the ready. When I added the Wendy Becky station, that was in here. Everything on here is pretty lightweight. You wouldn't want to put a lot of weight on here, but it works really well for that. And then my Rockskog cart got repurposed because this is where I had all my fountain pen stuff, all my planner stuff. It was really crammed in here. But now I'm using it for more like, I've got some specialty papers in here. I keep a roll of paper towels. I've got down here, I've got my Tim Holtz sprays, my distress sprays. I put the things for my make art station on this so they don't get knocked off while they're in there. I have all of my distress inks, including my mini distress pads are right in the corner in this little, it's just a little tin bread tin. And then I have in here, I have my distress water, my perfect pearls. There's a stamp cleaner. This one's, oops, got off camera there. This is alcohol ink, which I always keep closed if I'm not using it. A, so that it doesn't evaporate, but B, so that I don't mistakenly grab it if I'm doing things that I want water on. Also my blending solutions in there because it's a little bit too tall for the drawer. So I keep that kind of stuff in there. And then at the top, I keep stickles and perfect pearls, the perfect pearl, these guys, liquid pearls, not perfect pearls. I keep those in there. And I just have little PVC couplers, I think is what they're called, in a tray to hold them upside down so that it just makes them a little bit more accessible. And then these other sprays that you see in here, these are mostly Tim Holtz sprays, but I learned from him, oops, off camera again, learned from him that what I had were the old stains that came in the daubers. And when he was doing his demo videos, he talked about how that it's the same formula in those daubers as what he puts in his sprays. So I went to my dollar store because I did some searching, hoping I could find some spray bottles, and the best price I found was just going to the dollar store and going to the cosmetics section, and I found these little spray bottles. Unfortunately, most of the ones that I found came in a 3-pack where it had 1 spray bottle and 2 of another type of bottle, which was not necessarily helpful, except for now I have a ton of bottles that I'll find something to do with as I need them. But it was still less expensive to get each pack at $1 a piece than it was to buy a set of these anywhere that I found. So there's other distress stuff that's old, distress crackle stain. I don't even know if they make that anymore. I don't think so. This you can still get distress. This is Clear Rock Candy Glitter. There's some other distress glitters. Again, I don't know if they make all of those anymore, but I have them for should I ever choose to use them. So all of that is what I keep in my Rockskog. I keep it right next to my desk so that I can move it when I'm using it. So that brings me to this corner, and this is the most recent major overhauled corner that I did when I did the corner opposite me that has the corner behind me that we already looked at. And what I did is I added this set of IKEA cubicles to it. Previously, where the first set of cubicles ended, that's where I would keep those two, the plastic container that I already showed you, the tall one, and its twin that's now in the closet. And then I would keep my Rockskog cart, and that it had plenty of room in there with a little bit of extra room, but I would keep all of that there. And then at Christmas last year, I set up a card table in this corner, and I went through the craft room and I pulled out all of my Christmas stuff. I mean, I pulled out everywhere that I had stickers, everywhere that I had dies, embossing folders, not rubber stamps, but stamp sets, papers, Cricut cartridges, anything and everything to do with Christmas. Even if you look up, I've got washi tape. I pulled it and I set it either on or underneath that table. So, it set out because theoretically in my brain, well, it was there for the whole holiday crafting season. But I left it out because I thought, well, you know, I've got pictures that I need to scrapbook and December dailies to finish. So let's leave it out or I'm never going to get it out and do it. So after quarantine and everything and sitting there, it was kind of driving me a little bit nutty, and I thought I should just get another set of shelves. I'll probably be able to get everything in like 3 or 4 little cubies and we'll be good to go. Well, it's an 8 cubicle section, and by the time I got it organized to where it looked nice, I had used 6, let's see, let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them on Christmas related items. But that's okay. I'm so happy that it's all organized. Yes, it's a little bit chaotic organization. I mean, if you said, do you have such and such paper? I'd have to say, well, I will have to go through the paper area. But it's all organized and ready to go, and I'm loving it. So with the remaining 2 cubicles, this is one of them. And this is where I put in this little I had actually some of my die cutting stuff stored on this, and it was in the closet. It held blankets and stuff. So I moved that in here so that I could divide up and have more room for things like surfaces that I wanted, the press and seal that I bought for my collage mediums and stuff to keep them from drying out. There's wax paper, there's parchment paper, my little roll. I actually was keeping the Tim Holtz large cutter where this on this shelf, but I moved it and used this for scrap paper that I want to use up right away because I'm really trying to use up scraps. But like for those one-off sheets that you have that really don't fit in, I store my other scraps differently, but for just like individual sheets, I just tossed them in there. I keep my Tim Holtz stamp platform there. And then I had the top, and it's wonderful. I love the way the top turned out. So I have another one of these little fridge, I don't know what the brand is, but just something I picked up at Marshall's or somewhere. And in this one I keep distress backgrounds and alcohol backgrounds so that I can make cards out of them. This is my old ATC card holder that I had, and with what I have left that I hadn't cleaned out before the move, this is where I keep all my swatches. My smaller swatches, my larger ones sit right here. This has 3x3 and 4x4 card fronts and bases and different things that I can use, and then just some pretty things. You know, I've got a box with a bunch of scripture things in here that not for crafting, they were just for a study that I did. This, I love this tag. You may have seen it on Instagram a while back when I was working with the Tim Holtz products with his distress videos. And then sometimes if I have some cards to display that I know I need to get out right away and I don't want to put them necessarily in the card folder to be forgotten, I'll go ahead and set them here. And then I set my light box so that I'll actually start using my light box to take photos, and it really improves my photos. So again, this part here has not changed. That was this way. The only thing that changes is if I change out the ribbon, use it all up or something, and I add some to it. That's the only time that really changes. The storage on top of it really hasn't changed. I did find this cute little berry basket that I bought berries in, and I thought, well, I'll just use that and put bits and bobs in it. Different things, embellishments, Scrabble tiles, those kind of things. just things that have been sitting around that you would use in paper crafting. I do keep my Christmas washi kind of hanging off the end of that because all the Christmas stuff is underneath there. So this shelf in front of you, this is a change. It's not a new shelf. It was there before, but basically what you see on the top shelf, it was divided between the two shelves and very nicely displayed. But when I started getting reinkers and stuff, I decided I would go ahead and display them rather than putting them in a drawer or something. So that maybe I'll use them, but also because they're pretty. I enjoy looking at them. So I kind of have them in the kind of rainbow order, I think is how I did it. Actually, I think what I did is I did them in the order that the Tim Holtz charts come on. And then when you look behind, I have my regular distress reinkers, what few of those I have, and then I have my archival reinkers, and then I've got a couple of other reinkers on there, and then just bits and bobs, you know, rings and big old paper clips, just things that you have in the craft room. Which brings me to this corner, and there's not really any change in there's a little bit of change, but not a lot. There is some better organization. I went through, cleaned out my stamp pads, found some that I actually had repeats of. Now I have enough stamp pads to completely fill this up, and this is just an old cassette thing that I got at a yard sale a long time ago, and I've used it for my ink pads for quite some time. These are mostly my close to my heart. This one's the only one that's different. The extra ink pads are actually with my planner things because they match this month's kit. There's the newer style of close to my heart ink pads, and when I say newer, I mean newer as of when I last bought. So I don't know what they're using now. These we're gonna say circa 2017 for when I quit doing close to my heart, and then these are the old ones from before that time for a frame of reference. So this is my original IKEA Calyx unit. I think it was a Calyx unit. It may have been a Billy unit. I'm not sure. The new one's a Calyx unit. On top of that, I have kind of this little toolbox. These are tools that I don't use all the time, and there are a few bits and bobs in there that I hardly ever use, but they're, for the most part, they're just the smaller tools, and they make it so that I can grab them, but they're not in my way on my desk all the time. Nothing has changed in these. This is where I keep Mod Podge, gesso. I actually keep other mediums in there. They're just put on a couple of them are on my desk right now. Paper pads in here. These are 6x6 paper pads. You'll notice that some of them are in Ziploc bags. So I mentioned before how I store some of my my scraps. When I have a set like such as this old paper pad from, I think this is, I don't know who that is, but whatever brand that is. When I have a set, when I start getting little pieces, or if I have a set that has little pieces and embellishments as well, which I have some of those, then as they start falling apart and you have all these little pieces, I put them in a zipper bag. I do the same thing with my 12x12s. So that I have them all together in coordinating colors. This one is just different acrylics that I have acquired over the year, paint daubers, homemade sprays, some other brands of sprays, Tattered Angels, Sukaniko, just various and sundry. Those aren't even all swatched out. This one's an old, what is that? Can't remember the name of that company. October Afternoon. So just some other sprays that I really need to get swatched out. Some of these are swatched out. My homemade ones I swatched out. This drawer has different stickers and dimensional stickers. This drawer has more paper pads. Most of them are 4x6s. There are a few 6x6 collections in there, but most of them are 6x8, I guess, is 4x6 and a few 6x8s. This one, kind of some loose leaf paper pads and some 8x8 pads that, and then some other things that kind of go together. So kind of if you dig towards the bottom, like when you're on vacation, we spent some time at the beach, so I've got those kind of things so that when I'm ready to scrapbook those, it's all kind of together. Then I've got a few solid colors in here. But for I think the solid colors probably end right about here, what I have in here. The rest of these are either collections or books or close to my heart pattern papers until you get towards this end, and when you get down towards this end, you have more specialty papers, your glitter cardstocks and just your specialty papers. But these in here are just basically pattern paper. You get below, and that's where you get my 12 by 12 close to my heart cardstock, arranged by families. We've got some extra goodies here. This cabinet, this one obviously has a lot of room, so if I ever need that space, I can rearrange and make better use of it. These drawers are definitely not new. They were part of the original thing that I moved with me from Utah, but I keep in here like multi-mediums, multimedia stuff, chalk paste, chalk. I've got blackboards in here. I've got other surfaces, substrates in there. This one I have just goodies. I've got everything from straight pins to emery boards to picks to popsicle sticks. There's even an extra palette in there. I mean, this is just a bunch of stuff. This particular cubby is where I purchased for card storage. It's pretty empty right now, needs filled. There are a couple things of specialty paper in here. There's some Midori paper, some Rhodia, I think it's Rhodia, some other cards, and then you get down below and you have specialty papers like watercolor papers and shrinky dinks and regular 8.5 by 11 cardstock and these things. Now this is kind of a money saving tip. These you can just get at Walmart. They're magazine holders, and they're big enough that you could actually hold 12 by 12 paper in. Fact, there's some there with Christmas papers. This is in the wrong place. They work really well. And then I found these little paper pouches, and I believe that they're A2 size, and kind of hard to get the angle. They have a little snap on them, so I used them for my cardstock until I ran out of them. I did, but I also am able then, because of the size that they are, I can use my Tomeo River paper, and it keeps it really safe. If you've dealt with Tomeo River paper, which is wonderful, I love it for my journal inserts, but it's very delicate, and it's not, I mean, you're not going to pay a fortune for it, but it's also not cheap. So, you know, I think I get 100 of them for $13 or $14. So you want to take care of that paper. So that works really well for them. It helps keep them safe. Then I've got some various more watercolor papers. There's some canvas, sticky back canvas, some solids that are not close to my heart, and some prints kind of mixed in there. Just all sorts of papers and surfaces. I get down here to my bottom. This tub used to house one of these like this in there, and it had all of my kits from close to my heart that I had left. You know, card kits and scrapbooking kits and those kind of things. But I've actually moved those into this big bucket thing that I picked up at IKEA, because I used the other one of these. That's part of my Cricut cartridge storage that I have put away, because again, don't want to get rid of them, but and I can't because they're linked to the design space anyway, but they don't need to be in my craft room all the time. And so this big box has all different kinds of page protectors. I think there's even 8 by 8 and maybe even some others down in that box, but there's everything from 8.5 by 11s, 12 by 12s, just tons of those. So that is pretty much it for the craft room itself. I'm not going to get, you might be saying, well, where do you keep your stamps? Where do you keep more of your embellishments? Well, because I don't use those things every day, and I don't keep them at my fingertips, I actually keep them in this closet. And like most closets, it's a bit messy, but it's very functional, and I'm very thankful for the metal shelves were all here when I moved in. So I keep all sorts of stuff in here, all those things that you need, but not every day. So Xyrons, extra Cricut, light box, books that have how-tos and sketches, my sewing machine, a couple extra blankets, because again, I'm in the basement, thread, gift wrap supplies, extra tripod, shipping supplies. My second set of plastic drawers are here, again filled with things that I don't need all the time. There's everything from bags to embellishments to a bind it all in that set. This is very old. I think I used it back for homeschooling with the kids when they were much younger. It got moved into my craft area in Utah, and that's where I keep things like more shipping supplies. You see over here on the side there are paper punches, 3-hole punches, Filofax size punches, the label maker, everything from office supplies to chipboard to candlesticks, to laminating pouches to Xyron, the bigger refills. I mean, this is just a catch-all, but I can quickly find what I need because I know pretty much where everything is in there. Shipping boxes. That bottom box actually isn't a shipping box. It's mementos that need something done with them. Extra boxes that I can use to alter or store, extra trays that I'm not currently using but know that you don't want to get rid of because you'll change your mind and use them later. I've got ribbon and lace and flowers and beads and project life cards, picture my life cards, gifts, more ribbon, all of my stamps. If they're not in that little tray on my desk or not with my planner things, they're stored in here. And there's that box that I said was full of of Cricut cartridges. There's more stickers in that box next to the Cricut cartridges, my sewing basket, family games, everything just kind of gets put in here. And as big of a mess as it is, I know where things are because I have the ability to get them organized. And so, you know, I know if I am ready to start grabbing and scrapbooking pictures, I can just pick a crate and decide which picture set I'm going to be working on for that time. So all those things that you see a few holes, there are a few things that need put away that I have in various other places. Up here there's a hole that has my planner stamps. And that's with my planner stuff right now. So just all of those things that you use, you want to have at the ready, but they don't have to be at your fingertips. That's what I use this for. So that is the craft room. I hope it gives you some ideas of some things that you can use. You may or may not have noticed that I have very few items that are quote unquote craft type items. That for storage utensils. I think if I were to name them off the top of my head, the washi holder, that is a definite craft specific holder. The ribbon holder down in the corner, craft specific. My Tim Holtz tins, definitely down here, those are definitely craft specific. This little collapsible, this is really for crops. It's like you can take your own little trash bin for crops. I keep that on my desk for things that I can then go up to the recycle bin and I don't just throw it away. But other than that, most everything in here is just IKEA stuff, yard sale finds, TJ Maxx, different things like that you can use, different pretty things. There are a few crates. My stamps are held, and a lot of my close to my heart supplies are held in actual craft design containers. A few containers, but most things are bins and baskets and things that you can pick up anywhere. So do what works for you. You don't have to put a fortune into craft specific containers. Do things that you enjoy looking at, that inspire you to go out and make things, that help you organize your stuff so that you can make things, so that you can enjoy the little things, and so that you can really enjoy the things that you have been blessed with to use. So thanks so much for stopping by today, and remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.